make an intro song to it. I feel like that'd be fun. I am Virginia, and this is my corner of YouTube where I post very inconsistently, but I hope that things will change these next coming months. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. I am here to talk about something a little bit more personal. A little side note, I am wearing shoulder pads. Okay, I'm wearing a shirt that has shoulder pads. This is the first time ever I've worn shoulder pads, and I like it. I may regret this fashion choice in the future, but today I'm very keen on it and I like it. Anyway, that's that. Okay, let's talk about Tea Time with V really quick. I started this channel my sophomore year of college, and then it kind of fizzled out because of whatever reason. I don't even want to get into that. But I'm here now, and I loved doing Tea Time with V, and one of my friends was like, you should just do it again, especially with like, I feel like there's a lot that has changed in my life, and I have a lot of insight to share in terms of my health and well-being and wellness and just other aspects. And honestly, I love talking to the camera, so here I am. And I love YouTube. I remember how like I used to feel so inspired, and I get to use it as a creative outlet, and I just enjoy it. So here I am again. But today's topic that I'm gonna be discussing is one that's a little strange, okay? As you probably know from the title, I have been diagnosed with gallbladder sludge. What is that? Gallbladder sludge. Such a strange term, but I'm gonna dive right into it because we have no time to waste. We have things to cover. So let's start with my health history, right? Okay, let me drink some tea because there's a lot to spill. Well, it's not really drama tea, but it's like health tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like when people say I'm spilling tea, they're sharing drama, but this isn't even drama. This is just my life. This is my diagnosis. So here I am to share that with you, who is willing to listen to my journey. Oh, okay, here we go. Y'all ready? Buckle up. Put this on 2 times speed if you want it to go by faster, because I can be a slow talker sometimes, and whatever. Do whatever you want to do. Grab your tea and let's get ready. Let's get on into this. So 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, a very rare form of ovarian cancer. And I had a surgery and it was healed in the name of Jesus, amen. And after that, I feel like I really tried to take my health seriously, and well, I didn't take it as seriously because I wasn't really having a lot of symptoms or reactions to a lot of foods. I'm very alert when it comes to my health, and sometimes it's a bit unhealthy, but we'll get into that later. My sophomore year of college, I started noticing that my body wasn't responding well to dairy. So I cut dairy out. I wasn't drinking milk. I barely ate cheese, but I didn't take it as seriously. And I'd say probably maybe for the past 4 years, I've been really good on not eating dairy. And then about 2 years ago, when I was in Arizona, I was working out a ton, and I really went on this like health kick. And then all of a sudden, I started feeling like there's a rock in my gut, like right about my upper abdomen, right under my right rib cage area. And I was like, okay, it's not abs. I ain't got no 6-pack. I ain't got no 4-pack. I don't even got a 2-pack. So I was like, what is going on, right? And I'd go to bed and it would just honestly feel like a rock in my stomach. That's the best way I can explain it. I was so stressed at that time, and I went into a panic mode because I thought that my cancer had returned. That was a really scary thought for me to have, and I am definitely working on that aspect of my mental health. I'm being transparent, but I believe that God cured me once and for all from all cancers from here on out. I went and got a CT scan, and they're like, you got gas, girl. You're just gassy. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, thanks. As time goes on, it didn't pass. So I would say about a year ago, so right when COVID started, I became a couch potato. All right, I was just not happy. I was like, I don't have a job. I just graduated. COVID just hit. I'm home. I don't know what's going on with my life, and blah, 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 blah. Woe is me, whatever. You know, I felt so sorry for myself, and the way I compensated for it was through eating foods that my body very much doesn't like. And I think that that triggered something a little bit more worse, and I was feeling so disgusting, like everything about my health, like all around, I just didn't feel good. And I knew that what I was eating and like not being active, and I mean, we couldn't go anywhere. I mean, I could have gone for a walk, but you know, like at the beginning, no one really knew what to do. We were kind of just like, where do we go? You know, that kind of thing. So anyway, I just became lazy, and yeah, no good, no good. Oh, and then summer comes around and I started getting really intense, those same pains, but they were almost worse, like to the point where I couldn't even like I was trying to sleep and I'm like, what feels so uncomfortable? I can't, like every time I try to move, nothing would feel comfortable. And so I call my doctor and I'm like, hey, look, something is really wrong. So she sends me to a GI doctor, and I got a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, and they found inflammation in my esophagus, and they found some abnormalities in my stomach lining, and they took a biopsy. That diagnosis came back as benign, like it wasn't anything serious, it was just inflammation. So it was probably just from the foods that I was eating, which makes total sense. I was like, okay, so I put that to bed, right? I was like, that's probably all it is. And then I completely shifted my diet, and I was like, hey, I'm going really like, I want to go intense and eat a lot of anti-inflammatory foods and stick to a paleo diet, but like even like low food map. And I went like, I cut out caffeine from my diet. I was really intense, and all of a sudden I started feeling so much better. And then I started working out a little bit more, and then for a couple months I felt fine. Like everything felt fine. In January, this is when things got a little bit more intense. I went and had a bagel sandwich, which was so good. It was so good. But right after I ate that bagel sandwich, something triggered inside me, and I was like, for days, for weeks actually, I was like, I don't feel good. Something is so off. So I call my doctor again, and at this point we're taking multiple blood we're taking multiple blood samples. I've done breath tests for bacterial, like H. pylori, that came back negative. All my bacteria in my stools came back negative, and then I started finding blood in my stools, and so that was really alarming. And so I was scared. I was like, what? And then I would have moments where I just wasn't hungry at all, and sometimes I'd be really hungry. Like my appetite was so off. Just things were so weird, like everything. Like I didn't feel good. And I was like, what is going on? Like and then after I had that bagel, I totally changed my diet, and I was like, I need to go back to that anti-inflammatory diet I was doing. And I did that, and nothing helped. And so I was like, dude, I looked at my doc and I said, doctor, something's wrong. Something's really wrong. Okay. And sometimes the pain comes and it goes, and it's so strange. Like I'll just be sitting and it's like so weird. Multiple stool samples, and everything came back normal. They're like, no, you're fine. And I'm like, no, I'm not fine. Like something is wrong. And so she sent me in to get an upper abdominal ultrasound, and that was probably my most, that test was the one that really triggered my emotions and my mental health. I was in that appointment, and she was taking so many pictures on like my problematic side, which I mean makes sense, like that's what the test called for. But I was like, did she find something? And I was like so nervous, and I was like so quiet and just in my own thoughts, and I was unwell. I left that appointment crying because I just didn't know what was wrong. I was like, did my cancer come back, you know? And I just started spiraling. So that was on a Friday, and all weekend I went without a diagnosis, and I was just kind of like, just trying to calm myself down and praying and allowing like God's peace to fill me, and not try to lean like on my own understanding of what has happened in the past and apply it to my present and my future. Anyway, that in itself was like a struggle, you know? So like here I am like dealing with these symptoms of everything that I eat is triggering my stomach, and it's only one particular area. But see, the most intense part is the fact that it's not only just my gallbladder that was being triggered, but also my stomach. So I just, at that point, like I didn't even know everything that I was eating. I was like, what is going on? This hurts me, this hurts me, this hurts me, this hurts me, this hurts me. And honestly, even to this day, I am still figuring out foods that trigger me and foods that work well with me. So it's really just, and sometimes it's just a hit or miss. Anyway, so then Monday comes around and I get a call from the doc and she was like, hey, and I'm like, hi. And she's like, I got a diagnosis for you. That's not really what happened. That's not how she talks. But I'm just trying to make it entertaining, so here I am. And I go, yes, what's my diagnosis? And she goes, you have biliary sludge. I said, is that a real medical term? And she goes, yes. And I'm like, I am having a very hard time taking you seriously right now because you just said sludge. She's like, I know, it's so weird. And it's a very rare diagnosis. You don't really, every person who I've told, nobody knows what it is. But basically what it is gallbladder sludge. It's bile. It's built up cholesterol and calcium. So the way to prevent your gallbladder from being triggered is by not eating fried foods. And it's even uncomfortable right now, but she said that in order, I asked her, I was like, well, what are my options? How do I heal this? You know, like what are we doing here? What's going on? And she's like, well, you can remove your gallbladder. And I was like, girl, no, I don't want to remove it. I don't feel like it messes with my everyday life, and so that's why I'm not too keen on the idea of removing it, especially because I already have an ovary removed and I'm not trying to walk around like a hollow human. You know, my heart's already kind of, you know, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, I'm totally joking. I want my organs for as long as I can have them. So, with that said, I've been really big on a like anti-inflammatory diet and eating foods that work well with my gut and just being diligent about it and being consistent and saying, I honestly, y'all, I've gotten really good at saying no to foods that my mind loves, but my body, my gallbladder, my stomach do not. So yeah, that's my diagnosis. If you know anybody who has it or is dealing with it, then let me know and tell me what they do to help manage it, or if they actually got their gallbladder removed. I don't know. I have another appointment in, I think, like 3 months to get another ultrasound so we can monitor it and see what's going on. So I'll keep y'all updated, but my whole goal is to, in these next 3 months, is to really help subside the symptoms and really kind of let it dissolve on its own. You know what I'm saying? It's not life-threatening, which I am so grateful for. I think that that is my biggest gratitude, that it's not something so serious, you know? I mean, sure, it's uncomfortable and it's annoying to deal with, but at the end of the day, like, I can deal with it and I can live with it, and for that I am so grateful. I don't really know what else to say. I guess I wanted to touch on one more thing, and that is like my mental health with this whole like diagnosis and just my overall health. I have a really hard time not going into a really dark place when my body isn't functioning properly because of my previous diagnosis. Something that really helps me do better and get myself in a good headspace again is to remember that God is my healer. Like he is the creator of my body. I'm under his hand. Like, he's got me and I'm okay. And I have to like constantly remind myself that. So, and if you're dealing with health issues, I just want you to know that you're not alone. If you're dealing with gallbladder sludge, hi. Hi, nice to meet you, fellow gallbladder sludge. I feel like our little gallbladder should talk to each other. All right, that was weird. That was weird. This is the end of this Tea Time with V. I will see y'all next week for Tea Time with V. I hope you enjoyed learning more about my health. I don't even know, like, honestly, I don't even know if anybody's gonna watch this, but if you watched up until now, thank you. And I will see you next week. Bye, have a lovely day. Stay healthy, stay safe, and be proud of yourselves, okay?